So we can start with the sessions. So in this session, we will focus on how to gain the business insight by working with PowerShell and Excel, and also Logic app. And before dive into the sessions, special thanks to our sponsors. Without them, we don't have this great event today. A little bit about myself. Before I ask, how many of you attended my session last year? Yeah, thank you. Yes, so a little bit about myself. My background is in data analytics and automation. I have more than 12 years working in different countries like Vietnam, Singapore, Netherlands, and Saudi Arabia. You can follow me on a blog post on LinkedIn where I normally post regarding to automation or data analytics. The agenda today have 5 main parts. First, we will see the background, what is the business problem that we are trying to solve. And then we go through the case study number 1, which is the estimates of the impact of business decisions. Then before going to the case study 2, we will discuss about data preparation, how to solve the data quality using PowerShell. And the next step, we will do the second case study, which is forecast. And last, we will know how to automate the whole workflow. And before going to the session, some expectation, the problem are real, meaning that those are the real business problem that many companies and I face in the past. However, the data is simulated in order to protect the business. And the flow of the code is customized for this session. What does it mean? It means that it's not the code that you can copy paste everything and put it into production. Because the code, I try to break into different parts and I try to insert some bugs into it. And then when we face the bug, we will try to troubleshoot together. So after the session, I will upload in GitHub. So you will see that the version that have the bug and the version that with the best practice and how you fix the bugs and how you investigate where's the bug come from. So what's the business problem? So this Yap, he has the dream that he wants to open a coffee shop. And he has all the fancy coffee machine, great big coffee bean, and he wants to open a coffee shop. Because I lived in Amsterdam before, just to change the words. He wants to open the cafe shop. Yes, so to be specific. Yes, but after a while, he realized that there's so many business problems that he encountered, like operations and then inventory, forecast, everything. So it's very hard for him to gain more customers. So he decided to hire a data scientist or data analyst who know about the data to help him. And he went through many interview routes, and he chose the one who's very lazy, just like him, because he believed that the lazy person will find a creative way in order to get the job done. In this case, that lazy person also knows PowerShell. So first, we go into the estimation part. First, what's the estimation? Estimation is the process of finding the appropriate estimate value that is usable despite incomplete, uncertain, or unstable input data. So in this case, for example, here, we want to gather the information first, the data analyst job is Yap asks the analyst to estimate the markets, so market sizing exercise, meaning that estimated like I have how many customer I can gain per day, how many sales per day I can have. So the analyst work, gather the data, and then summarize into an Excel file with like the raw data have 4 columns, A group, and the number of people in each of the A group, the competitor, and then she also figure out the competition and substitute value. So in economic term, meaning that, for example, you have 100 customers, like the whole market, regardless of how many competitors you have, you only have 100 customers that can go to the the cafe. For example, you have 2 cafe, then 100 may split into 30, 70, or 50-50. So you don't know. So that's a competition factor here is 0.3. So it's just a number. And then the substitute, meaning that instead of drinking the cafe, they can opt for going to the supermarket to buy different kind of like water kind, for example, juice. So in order to try to estimate it, then the analyst figure out this is the formula, which means that we have a 100 customer base, then we will multiply by 1 minus competitions and substitute. That's the customer base that we have left. But this is Excel file because the analyst is so lazy. So she tried to find a way in order to automate it. And in this session, I also switched slide a couple of times. So first, I will show you how the data structure works currently. So I put here all of the data input raw file into the folder called data. And all of the result, after we export the result, visualization, calculation, it will put in the results folder. And the script, I will put it here. So you will have the overview of the structure of where the files come from. So here the data input is the estimation file. So like I showed before, if you open, it will have A group, 8 count, competitor or competition, and substitutes factor. Now, the end result that we want is that yes, so if we compare before and after, we will see that we will break down all the tasks that PowerShell needs to do. First, we need to import the input data, for example, those 4 columns and those 4 rows. And the second step, we need to auto-size and recolor it. For example, in this case, want to highlight the result of the estimation sales per day, like in yellow color, and I want to make the Excel sheet more readable. In this case, I want to see exactly the A group, A count is very readable. And the third one is that I want to insert the formula using PowerShell. In order to do that, we can go to this script. So this is the one. How about I run first and then I explain after? Yes. So this, it helps us to do exactly what we want here. Just put a label for it first. So you see that the formula automatically input. We auto-size, recolor the columns. We have the input data, and it writes the result into the Excel file name result. So we close it. And now I try to explain the code, how it works. So here, this is on the, yes. Oh, yes. Yes, sure.
Oh, it's okay.
Thanks. Yeah. We also don't need this. So first, if the first time that you work with ImportExcel, you need to install this code, and the scope is current user. And then after that, the first time you successfully install, then you can import the model, ImportExcel. Here I will come back and explain what is it. And then after that, this part also, I want to import the input with either step number 1 that like I highlight in the slide that we need to do, is that we import, in this case, is the CSV file estimation, raw file, and then we can export into the Excel file with the worksheet name, estimation. But some of you may see that why they convert to JSON here. Because we are talking about business, and then in reality, there's different type of formats, different departments work together. Therefore, for example, engineer department, if later on yet want to scale up his business, only work with JSON, and then we can give the JSON file format to them. So here it's just like 2 different ways for you to do it. You can convert to JSON, or in this presentation, mainly focus into export into Excel file. And if I open the data, so this is estimation draw file that I just opened some minutes back, and the result here is the JSON, where after run the code, the JSON is exported into this format. So very readable for the technical person. In the meantime, it also exports to the result file that I also just show you. And here is the main part. How does it work? So after the input and import and export into Excel file, we come to the main calculation here. So with ImportExcel model, in order to work with it, you first need to open the Excel package and always close with the close Excel package. So every command, or not every command, but every kind of like a unit that you work with, for example, in this case, estimation, you need to begin with open and end with close. And if you want to show the result, you can put show, or if not, show meaning that it will automatically open the Excel file for you. But if you don't want to open it, then you just like don't put it show here. And after open the Excel package, you want to first access to the worksheet. For example, in this case, I want to specifically access to estimation. Here, because I only start with the estimation, so there's only one worksheet. However, later on, I will add many other sheets, so you need to specifically mention the name of the Excel sheet. So here, and then after that, remember that we need to add the formula from E2 to E5. But I open this so we can so E2 to E5. So we need to add those formula inside, and the way that we do it is that we drive here from row number 2 to number 5. For each row, we will put the formula into column E, and the formula is like this. And the dollar size, like this, meaning that the current item. And then after that, you want also do repeat the same thing, but do for the sum in the E6. Here, because it's the sum, so we don't need to put the current item here. And then how do we add the color? So in this case, we get the yellow color, and we use set Excel range. And for E1 and E6, we will do the background color with the yellow. And then in order to put the auto size, then we just use this auto size into the set Excel column. And like if we want to only auto size for specific column, in this case, the column called estimated sales per day, which is the last column, But now if we want to do it again, we want to do auto-size for entire worksheet, then we can do like this. We can call this like column for all of the column in the worksheet. Then we will auto-fit. So there are two ways for you to do auto-size. So this is the estimation worksheet. Do you have any questions? Okay, then I will close it. Yes. And now, finish with the estimation. And now, but then the analyst find out that there are many problems when she work with the data. She find out that their different formats come from different files. Every file follow their own format. So it's very hard to scale up the solution. And also the calculation is like now I have 4 rows, then I do it from row 2 to row 5, excluding the header. But what if in the future I have 10 rows add in and then 12 rows add in? So I cannot do like go back to the code and like hard code every time. So it's not very scalable. So I need to think of the way how to do it. And also a lot of data quality issues. The analyst talk to Yap, and then Yap say, okay, just drink the coffee, and then you can solve it. Okay, then now the analyst work for the operation file, and then see. Okay, then I open this. For first, she work with the operation file. She opened the raw file here for operation. I close this one first. So operation file, you see that like, okay. Oh, sorry. I think it's not responding. Yes. So now the operation file, she opened also in the same input data folder. She opened it and she saw that if I just import it, then those blank rows doesn't work. And then I don't want to import those data. I only want to import from row 7 until the end. So, and then I look at the operation file. I saw that, okay, for every week, people will put the new file name week 25 or week 24, 25. So I want to scale up the solution. I don't want to every week. I need to go back to the code and then I change the number. So because of this, she analyzed the data. She see that, okay, this is before and this is after. So what are the points that I need to do? First, I need to remove like unrelated data. In this case, the blanks rows and also the days as well, because I don't need it. And then after that, the formula here, for example, if the shift PM, then it will be Jimin, and then AM, it will be Jenny. So I want to know that like, okay, how many cappuccino or iced latte or the coffee type that each of the person sell for specific day, because it's operation data. I want to have no insight. And then I want to, so here the data is presented by date, but I don't have a lot of time. I only want to see the aggregated data by week, per week during the year. In order to do that, we also come back to the code here. First, with operation. Yes. So repeat the same thing. We also import the operation file and write into the worksheet name operation and start row number 7. So that is one way to do it. there's also another way to do it. You call it like data only. And after import this, yeah, so the same thing, you need to open and close. But however, in this is the whole code, so I already open above. So I don't put it open here, but when you want to run it, you need to put open Excel package and close Excel package. And you also utilize the set Excel column here. Rename is to perform by, because this is the new column that we want to add, like Jimmy or Jenny, and the week number. And here, how do I do it like dynamically? By adding the rows. Worksheet dimension.rows. So if I put it here, it's automatically count only the rows that have the data, and it will add the formula in it. For this, the result that we will receive will be like this. If I open the result, Excel file, okay, because I haven't run, of course. I will run the whole file. Okay, there's some error. Yes, so you can ignore this error because I will explain why later, but I will keep this. But the point is, the result is generated. So the operation here, if you open, we can also even automate the select label here as well. So we will see that is do the calculation. Here it's just calculation. And if everything here is automatically import the correct row that we want, and all the formula is also ends at the row that we want. It doesn't write, for example, like this. So we don't have the ugly data that carry no information at all. So I close this Excel sheet. Okay, then go back to the error. So we see that it say,
sorry, can I?
Yes.
You lost me. How did you pick out the data missing at the top of the document?
Yes. So here, so we have two ways to do it. First, operation. Yes, so here I do it start row from number 7. Once. Another way you can do it is data only. But later I want to say for other part, data only is true. So there are many ways to do it. Let's go back to the error here. Any other questions? Okay. So if I go back to the error, you can see that it say, okay, a delete function doesn't work because it doesn't see this file. But I will talk later, and because I haven't generated utilization sheet yet. So that's why it say cannot file it. So this is just natural. So nothing we need to worry about this. Now, operation finished. Yes. So now the next step is inventory. Inventory file. So instead of open directly here, I also capture some screenshots so it's faster. So we see it like before and after. So before we have this also raw Excel file gathering by people that check the inventory every day. And now but then the analyst want specifically, like for example here the coffee ID is not readable. So she only want to extract, for example, DC06 and CC02, meaning that the code only. So this is two information together, and she only need this the information like DC06, something similar to that. And then she wants to rename it as the coffee new ID, like this. And then because there's so many, you can see that there's so many error. She also finds so many error in the file that she wants to create a column where she can raise the alert. For example, whether the data is duplicate or is abnormal. For example, in this case, the coffee type only have two types, whether it's Robusta or Arabica, but why they choose here is very abnormal. So she wants to highlight those things. The second one is that she wants to get the right coffee ID. And the last one also put the years and the week number. In order to do that, yes, we also do the same thing again, repeat with a inventory here. So here I import inventory file and export into the result Excel file, but put in the worksheet name inventory. And now with the inventory part, so we go here. So like I said before, I already opened it. And for each of the Excel column, you can rename the column name by putting this. I'll create a new column name, also use the same command. And we learned this at the operation sheet before, how to scale up by using the dimension.rows. So here, this is the part where she write how to raise the alert. So here, she will use this. So to be honest, I don't learn by heart how to do the regex. I just like Google it. You can choose to learn by heart, but there are many amazing online website there where you just input the result that you want, and then they will put the expression that you want to use. So you can add this. This is the part where it helps you to export only the coffee ID that you want. And you also split the part as well. So for example, I go back to the data. If I show you here, inventory. So you see here that most of the real coffee ID come from this side. However, if you look at for a certain type, it's because human input. So there's a freestyle. There's a lot of error input. So you will see that for some reason, for cheese coffee, they put the coffee ID in brackets, maybe, in square bracket. And then C11 is the one that I want. But then for other coffee ID column, it's quite consistent that I can extract this. So I need to think of the way in order to scale up the solution in the future. And first, I talk to the person who input the data. Please, this is the standard format. And I also lock in the future, I lock the format. Like if they input wrong format, then they cannot input at all. They have to redo it again, meaning that shifting my problem to their problem, basically. But then that's not enough. I also want to do it in the code, not only preventing, but I also try to fix on my end by applying this regex. Then you can help to prevent this from your end as well. And then the next part is data validation. You will see that here. So I know that there are only two types of the coffee that I want to use in my cafe, which is Arabica or Robusta. Anything else of normal, because I only like two coffee types. That's why it will spot that the coffee type, if it's equal to anything that not Arabica or Robusta, will be abnormal. And how do you find the duplicate values? the thing here is that when you work with ImportExcel, and then you need to understand how the Excel work first. In the Excel, in order to find a duplicate, we use the function countIf. And you apply into the formula in Excel file. If it work, it produce the result that as your expectation. Then you just copy the whole thing. But the only thing that you need to be careful and change is the dollar size and this backslash, I think, in order to negate the next character. What do I mean by that? If you open the result, inventory, duplicate, for example. So here, every single cell, you also see that there's formula here. So here, if I copy the whole thing, and I put it below it, right below it, you will see here, the only thing that you need to change when you compare the Excel formula and when you translate into PowerShell is that PowerShell you need to make sure that PowerShell don't understand this is the dollar sign in PowerShell code, but it belongs to Excel file. You do it by adding this side. And also similar to greater than 1 everything. So that's it, the only thing that you need to be careful about when translating to PowerShell. And yeah, similar to this as well. So here I want to understand that it's the string. I call it the string, indicate the string in Excel file. So I just put this before this. So after that, I implement it, and also, for example, the red, the alert, I want to put the color red. So it repeat the same thing, coloring in the first worksheet estimation that I showed before, and then now we run.
Question regarding the remarks. It's one apostrophe starting, and then we write the two, and in the back it's the other direction.
Which row is that?
In one, 340, for example.
340. Yes.
Here we have, we start with one apostrophe.
Yeah, this.
Then we have the two.
So this one, if I open the Excel file here, you see that it's already belong to the Excel formula. So this, what I want to do is that I want to indicate that this is the property belong to the Excel formula. It's like the PowerShell don't touch it, please. So that's if I don't put it, then it will prompt the error because it doesn't understand.
So it means interpret the following character as
Yes. Yes.
That was my missing link.
Yeah. Yes.
Maybe it would be easier to use F operator to put all together.
Yeah.
Use F operator.
Yeah. That's also another way to do it. So I just introduce one like the way that I usually do.
And the formula looks like you see it here.
Yes, that's like maybe even more like readable as well. So so that's the one way. So I don't save it and do. So how about now? After explaining inventory, I will run the code again. So this we can, yes. So inventory here, so the data pop up as we want. So now if I run again, it will pop up the error and yes. So if we read the error here, it's all like off the error prompting to the line that it cannot save. So why? The reason is that before running the code, before opening the Excel package, we didn't close the Excel file. So when it tries to save or to open again and save, it cannot because their file already opened it. So if now we close it and we run it again, so it's work. So what I want to highlight here is this. When you work with import Excel model, before running the code, you need to make sure that you don't open the same Excel worksheet. So that's part. Sorry for switching the slide many times, but I don't know how to do it better. So after that, now the analyst. Sorry, it is the break time already? No. The analyst talk to Yap. Okay, so this is my amazing result. I want promotion. And then Yap say, no, I have a better idea. So see, I just have another fancy Japanese coffee makers. I want to introduce it into my store. Can you tell me, it's like, if I put it into my store, how many customers will use it? Meaning that you need to do the calculation when it comes to utilization. Utilization meaning that how many customers using, like order the coffee specifically for this machine out of all the available time, that how many coffee cups that it can produce per day by this coffee machine. So the analysts say, okay, let me see what I can do. So she go back to the data, draw data, and then she also inspect two files. She see that, okay, this is the before. So those files are the same. It just changed, the data just changed the number for week 23 and 24 different, but the format the same. So here you can also spot multiple format problem. For example, they have blank rows. And here the frequencies I want per hours. Why there's cup here? There may be some utilization frequency you measure by cup, but I only want the frequency measured by hours. And then the result that I want is that I want to put both the Excel sheet here in the same worksheet. I want to put last week data next to this week data so I can see side by side. Also, I want to do the utilization last week calculation and this week calculation as well. And on top of that, I'm very demanding. I also want the summarize of per type of the machine. For example, in one coffee maker, espresso coffee maker, or pour over coffee maker, I want to see the utilization per week for each of the coffee maker. And okay, so she break down the tasks that PowerShell needs to do. First, she needs to remove the blank. And second, she wants to only retain relevant information, in this case, only frequency by hours. The next one is add information from two files with 24 and 25. And the next one is adding on the kind of formula. And then you can see that the formula in this rows are different from here. The reason is that here is we'll calculate the utilization per row, per asset number. But here is more like aggregated level. So this number, like average utilization this week, will be the average of the calculation. So basically, it's the calculation of the calculation. And here, as you can see that the raw data file have a set type. Repeat many times. You will see that two espresso coffee maker rows and many rows repeat multiple times. But the summary level, I only want to export the unique type. To do that, I will start with the demo. Do you want to take a break now or you want to continue? Okay, so continue for 5 minutes and then we have a break and then go back. Okay, so the demo which is talking about utilization. Okay, so it's the different import. So after I repeat import Excel and export Excel multiple times, I get bored. I want to scale up the solution. Because for utilization, it have 2 weeks. You can see that the data here is have week 24 and week 25. I don't want to repeat the same information multiple times. So I work on improving the command of import Excel and import and export Excel by putting it into the parameter. I put it path and worksheet name, sheet number 1. And here the data only equal to true. So I only want the data only. If any row that is blank, I remove it. And start row from number 1 and end column number 7. And here I want to format, for example, the column P4. There's date column there. I want to format it at date. So here a lot of smaller definition that you can put into it. So the way that you make it work, after you define it, here the import value, is that you run the this one and then you put add import values. So this pay attention, this $sign, but here it's like add. And after you export this, for example, this is last week utilization. You can do the same thing, but the only thing that you change is that you see dot path. This week utilization, where you change from last week file to this week file. And then in order to make sure that, okay, how do I know that when the PowerShell command run, it not accidentally get last week data twice, even though even though I put dot path equal to this week. How do I know? You can do it by variables, by using this, and then push variables. And before that, you put, for example, here, continue. And after that, it will tell you that exactly which import value, which file or which week that you import. So you don't need to worry about that. Let's see, I run this. Yes. So here, so last week in utilization, if you open here, this is the one that I need, where you dot sourcing it. So you see here that I define the parameter file, the result path, and utilization file name as well. But you can see that the week number, I didn't put it here. So you can see that week 24, week 25. But because I don't want to change the file name every week, so I just put it like underscore W's. And here, what I do is that later on, I will use the replace this with the week number. And if you trace back, the week number will get from this row. So it's automatically for every week you run, this will change the week number for you. And then after that, you need to run this file in order to make sure that this function is understand whether the last week. The reason that when I run the whole code, it works here, but when I run separate part, it doesn't work. Is that when in this code, when I run the whole path, it's already like referred to this file. And when I run separately, I haven't run this, so it doesn't understand that I want to refer to which variable. So that is the import and the error that we see. So if you open utilization here, you see that all of the formula is work perfectly, and here is like is import only unique value. But then, how does it work for the main part? Because I only work through the import part. For the utilization, so same thing. Just save it and run again. Yes. So remember that I added the verbose part. You can see here that it say, okay, this is the information that you get. You get from week 25. So this week. So when I read the information, I know that I import the right data, and it's also write the values, like which value into which column as well, into which cell as well. So I'm feel very safe that I import the right data. And I close it. And for the main calculation, how about we can come back after the break, and then the next step is that go into the main calculation of utilization file, learn how to do the forecast, and automate the workflow using Logic app. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes.
So you have any command available in PowerShell that you have in Excel. That's the reason why you rather do this stuff in PowerShell rather than in Power BI or data transformation. So most of the parts I would do Power BI to organize the incoming data and to gain new columns and so on. Calculators.
So the reason for this is that because different business, like in different stage, so many Thank you. Yes. So now we go to the main calculation. Just two reminders where we. Yes. Thank you. Okay, then we wait for 1 minute.
Ja, einen Moment, wenn die Bank wird, man natürlich schon. Die Masse gelöst, Daten. Oh ja, was ja. Das war stimmt dann draußen. Mas já sei que o negócio da TV da velha, da TV vai vir isso lá. Pegar para fora das escolas, que é assim.
Yep. Thank you. Yes. So here at the result file, you can see that it's not auto-signed yet. But you can, if you want to auto-sign, you can also apply the same thing that I told before in order to auto-sign. So here, just to recap where we are, we want to export the Excel file, the Excel sheet utilization work like this, where we exclude all the irrelevant data. For example, frequency only get the hours frequencies, and all the calculations summarize aggregate level. In order to do that, we already finished the import part, but this is the main part for the calculation. First, I need to open the data again. For example, here, this is the raw data. You can see blank and irrelevant frequency. And I also see that here, I only see the asset number where I want to translate it into asset type. For each of the machine coffee maker, I want to know in English term what is the coffee maker name. So this is the raw file. And in order to do that, I want to maintain a scalable solution by creating the create category. I define it as this. For all of the MC11, I can do it like pour over coffee maker, define pour over coffee maker, and so on. Later on, for example, if Yap have more money, he can buy more coffee makers, and he can define it here. So here you can provide a place for people to just input the new definition. If later on when business required, then you can put the new definition in. And the frequency here I define as hours. So here is just the file that I keep separately, where I just define every parameter, every function definition that related that I will use later on my main script. And I call it using this. You will see that like dot, and then put it in bracket, maybe, and then dot short the file. So this is how you do it. And now we go back to the utilization part. Yes. So here, I divide for this week, I divide the worksheet name, utilization, new hidden. Why I put this new hidden, I will explain later. But for now, it's just the name of the worksheet. I want to call it utilization, new hidden. Same thing, repeat dimension.rows. So I will do it here. The reason is that I want to delete the row that's not equal to the frequency that I define here, frequency equal to hours. So meaning that I only want to keep the frequency that equal to hours. The rest I don't need, I delete. And then I also define cell frequencies and cell time. The reason that I put it here is that I just want to compare with the value in order to delete row. So the whole function here just to keep the relevant data. So we so far we learned 3 ways in order to keep relevant data. The first is that you can start with the row, but it's not very scalable because data can, like every time human input can have different type of format. Sometimes it start with blank row number 7. Sometimes it start with number 8. So you never know. That's why you come up with the second solution, put the data only equal to true in the parameter. And the third way is that you define it like this, where you specifically put it at frequency equal to hours. It's customized in another level, in a more detailed level that you want. So there are 3 ways. And then that's it for this week utilization. What about the last week utilization? I repeat the same thing, but here I want to insert the column. Going back to the result. Utilization, you will see that here I insert the column type, asset type, where I interpret from the asset number using the definition that I just showed. So here, but then because the draw file, it doesn't have the column A yet. And I want specifically the column need to be at the first, or it need to be at the second, or a second column, or the last. I can define it like insert. And then you can call the index position here. And the reason why I put it at the first column, but not in any other position, the reason is that you need to do the VLOOKUP later. One of the file, yes, VLOOKUP here as well. So in Excel, it works like VLOOKUP only work from left to right. So you cannot look up from right to left. It's also one of the reasons as well. So I close it. So here is how you can insert the column using the and then index. Here you can set Excel column for each of the column. Same thing again. You define what's the name that you want. And here, for the date, I want it to format at date. Because sometimes with human input, it can come with the error that they can input with different type format. But here I want specifically for any of the column with the date that I expect that is the date value, then I want to format it short date. Also the same thing with percentage. And you can go online and look for different type of format. In order to go online, you can do it like here. Get help. For example, this is the module that we are working, ImportExcel online. And then you will see that this is the GitHub where he's the creator of this module. And then he creates all of the example of the case. Or you can also go to gallery, I guess. Yeah, PowerShell gallery. So depend on your version of PowerShell, you can also go to specifically to search for ImportExcel. Here I already open it. So here you can do the version and then all of the package detail, open all of the things. He give the example here. For example, I just want to do auto size. Not here. Sometimes you need to play with the keyword a little bit. Open everything. Okay, for some reason I cannot find here. But sometimes you need to play with the keyword and read it. So you can find the information here. Or other way that you don't want to open the online, you can do it like here. So it's open the small window for you. So you have all of the parameter definitions, what start row mean, end row mean, everything. And then example, readable format here as well. So that is how you can try to learn how to like troubleshoot and find the example and find the information. For example, in this case, number format it can be percentage, short date. The next one, finish this. The next one, this is how I insert the asset type. Here, if we open this again, here I define its category here. So here is a kind of like a dictionary. We can get the key and the value. And for each object, in this case, meaning that from row number 2 until the last row that has the value, I want to define the asset ID column as column B, asset ID as column B, and then column A, I want to get the value. So if the cell in column B equal to the value here, then I want the key. I want the key specifically according to the definition that I just defined. So that's why you pop up with the Excel sheet where you see the first column is the asset type, and the second is the asset ID. And then remember that we also want the aggregated level, but with the unique value. In order to do that, we input that it's unique. Select object unique, and then we can do is like do the loop where we just see one unique value and then we find the next unique value. So this is the result that we see that this is for column M. So we see that column M will look into column A and it's only extract the single unique value and then put it here. And how about column N and O? How do we do it? It's the calculation of the calculation, meaning it's the calculation of J and K. We can do it by looking at the code again. Column N, so we do still the average if. So this is purely Excel formulas that we translate into PowerShell. Same thing here. We can do for column HIJK. Similarly, it's just VLOOKUP. And delete the row if they blank, just to make sure. So that is the utilization sheet, how it works. And now the question going back to why I put the utilization new hidden. The reason is that if you open the Excel file, I just want to keep relevant information to report to management, to stakeholder. I don't want to keep like other file that I don't want. So that's why I just want to hide it. So for example, this doesn't give any like the data that doesn't give you the information to make the decision. The one that make the decision, half them is that this, for example, the average utilization per coffee maker. But this is like, it's just raw data. So I want to hide it. And in order to do it, this is the code that you can utilize to hide the worksheet that you don't want. Yeah. So in order to do it, I define what is the worksheet that I want to hide. This is the name, and then I use the worksheet.hidden in order to hide it. So you just run this, and then you hide the worksheet that you want. So any questions so far? Okay. Yes. So now it's come to the next step. Now the kind of like the business is quite stable, but then I want to forecast the sales in order to work with the inventory and allocate the staff to work in whether night shift need more people or AM shift need more people. In order to do that, I do the forecast. So before going to the forecast, in a nutshell, forecasts have three elements which help us to kind of predict the future. What are the three elements? The first is the trend. Trend is the trend direction over a period of time, whether it's increase or decrease or fluctuation. And then the second component is the seasonality. It's about the periodic behaviors. For example, during holiday, you will see a spike in the number of coffee that they order, for example. And the last one is the error term, which is the irregular fluctuation that you cannot explain or cannot predict. So that are the three main components of the forecast. So here in the presentation, I will introduce three types of forecast. First is moving average. The second is weighted moving average. The third one is the ETS algorithm. So I will introduce as a very high level. And remember that those are the functions that they call statistical functions. What does it mean? It means that for every single value of X, only have one value of Y, meaning that, for example, when you come to Excel file, those are the statistical function, sum average, or like moving average, weighted moving average. So it's like calculate the value that related to statistical distribution and probability. For example, here every X only have one Y. So here, in the first row, if you draw any vertical line, you can only see that the vertical line only meet the crack as 1 point, the maximum 1 point. But then the second row, if you draw some vertical line, it can reach the crack at multiple points. So that's the first one is statistical function, the second is not. So in the scope of the presentation, and also the forecast, just like for business user to help them easier to understand, then I only introduce the first one. So for the forecast, the raw file here we work is sales file. And this is the draw file before. We have the date, we have the sales per day recorded, and we have the number of the customers per date, the price in order to make it simple, I just put the price for every coffee here, the same. Cappuccino, espresso, brew coffee, everything the same price. And the weather, which is also related to the seasonality component, I can put it like weather 1 meaning that it's sunny and 0 meaning that there's no sun. Traffic can be like how the traffic look like that pass by the store at the time. 1 meaning that it's quite busy and 0 means it's not busy. So those are the raw files that I have specific people collect the raw data for me. And then this is the actor that I want is look. So I want forecast 1, 2, 3 methods that I told just now is like first the moving average, second is weighted moving average, and the third one is ETS. You don't need to learn what are those, but those are the 3 methods that people normally use to apply the forecast. And here, if you look at the right side, there's the chart, visualization. And like PowerShell also help you to visualize data in Excel file. That's what we can also learn as well. So here, break down the elements. First, we need to add the forecast formulas into the new Excel sheet compared to the raw file. The second, we need to put the weight input here for predicting the second row of the second forecast column. The third one, we need to add the charge. So there are the three elements that we need to work with. In order to do that, go back to the code and we go with forecast. Yes, before that, we need to import, of course. Okay, so here also interesting. I will introduce the error. So if you run this, normally like everything you import. Let's see if now if we run it, the file, what error do we have? So you will see that it's able to pop up the formula for column GH, but not I. It says there's error with divide by 0, and for some reason here is work, and then here is pop-up value. So for this reason, it's related to the format problem. And how do I know it? So by multiple way. The first one is that you need to, if you have the data background, then first you can spot it by knowing that this divide by 0, so you know that how the forecast, those three column works. So this is just average everything. And there's no 0 here, like it will sum 3 value and divide it by 3. So you know that you never divide by 0, so it doesn't pop up divide by 0. The second one is also, that's why it's called moving average. So you see average of the first 3, and the second one is moving to the next 3. So that's why it's called moving average methods. The second one is called weighted moving average methods because it has the weight here. The reason is that I want any sales of my last date before, like yesterday, will have more weight than the second one, the day before yesterday, and so on. So because I believe that the sale yesterday is a better prediction of the sale today, because maybe yesterday is holiday or it have the update regarding to traffic or weather. So that's why I judge the sale value of yesterday more. So I put it in order to do that, I use some product in Excel file. What some product do is that it will multiply, for example, in this case, B2 by L2 plus B3 multiplied by L3 plus B4 multiplied by L4 and then divided by 3. So that's how it's there for moving average. Basically, it's the same thing with moving average, but add the weight. For the last one, is a little bit more complicated. But then basically it pop up the divide by 0 because when it divide by date, like the value also, it doesn't understand that this is the date. So the format is wrong. That's why it pop up. And here, when you see that divide by 0, but here value, meaning that, okay, it's understand date, but when it's divide, it doesn't, like the format also doesn't work for it. And then if you see my machine here, my format day is month, day, and years. But here it's not. It's not month, day, and year. It's different. It's day, month, and years. So it's different format, two things. So two ways to spot it. The third way, we're using PowerShell. Focus. Yes. So the third way, we can use PowerShell. Let's see here. You can see that this, sorry, close it. This is a column I, and I want to see the Readability of column I. In order to do this, I just run, for example, I pick one cell, I do E5. Before that, of course, it will pop up the error. The reason is that I haven't run the above import. So now I just run it separately to show you how we can spot Excel file with the shell. Run it first. Doesn't move. Okay, path. Okay, same. It's you can ignore this error. I run it again. Yeah, it pop up the command that I haven't run yet, so you can ignore this. Yes. Now I go back. Main script and then PS. Okay, so after we run this, then get this.
I think don't work because when you call it with PowerShell, you execute it in a separate process and come back, and all the variables are wrong.
It looks like this is the part that it doesn't understand because the path is like PowerShell main. But in the code somehow it doesn't have PowerShell main here. Yes, now I try to run it to see if it's works. When after I change the path, because it open, so I need to close it. Okay, so now it's work. Because so the error only because I haven't put it in the right path yet, so it cannot find the data. Yes, so after import, how do we spot the error? We need to open the package first. Run this. And then forecast. So you want to specifically ask that I want to look at the self Excel sheet. And then I want to run off this. I remove this first. I'll explain later. And now I run this. And now I close. Okay. Okay. Now you can see the result. Here it just run the time. The reason that it doesn't automatically pop up, go back because I didn't put it show here, so I have to open myself. But if you can see the file here cell, it doesn't understand it. So we go back to the code, and to troubleshoot it, we run this to see the property. So it doesn't understand it.
Close package.
Close the package.
No, you have closed.
I close it.
You
That's here. Very open. F8.
are in the correct workspace, worksheet.
Oh, that's true. Thank you very much. Yes. So if you open here, you will see the property. Is forecast. So exactly the formula that we want, but why it doesn't work. Then, okay, then I do the next one. Which is the column H. So you see that some product, and here is like full address is sales. You can see also formula as well. And now you will see it. Yeah. So actually, when I add the A5, I5, and then when you see the formula, when you open it, PowerShell, unlike Excel understands its forecast, ETS function, but PowerShell understands it as XLF end dot forecast. So in order to make it work, you need to convert into the format that PowerShell understands. Those are the three ways that you spot the format, and then you can rectify it in your code. But that's one way to rectify. The other one, you go back to the import, and you can do it. Let's say I don't want to import using this. I want to fix the problem. In order to fix the problem, I implement this. So the same things, I want to import the cells, but I select the objects and I exclude the days column. And now I define myself what is the property of the days column, where the column property, the format of the column that I want month first according to my system, and then day, and then years. So this is how I manipulate the data format that I want. And here also two ways you can do it. If you only interested in doing the date, you can. For the rest, you want to keep the same, you can do it. Then it will understand, okay, for the rest, I don't do anything. I just change the format for the day column and then I export. However, this is not very readable because, for example, if you hand over the code for two other person, they also, if you put on the element here, they will understand that exactly what are the columns that you want to import. And later on, not only that you have greater traffic data, but you can also have many other columns when your business scale up, and many other data points also include in the same sheet, for example, and you only want to import specific column of the sheet, then you, for me, I think that's the best way. You should call all the name of the column there. So now I save it. I run the same one. Make sure it's the same one. Yes. Okay, so now after fixing the problem, manipulate the data, to make it exactly the same format with my system, then the formula pop up. Now it's come to the next part. how do I draw the chart for each of the forecast methods. So now we inspect the chart that we expect. First, we want the blue line is the sales, and then the orange colors is the forecast. 3 methods. Close it first. In order to do that, we go back to forecast. I close this first. So you see here that I define the chart where I define chart type, line, and then horizontal line and vertical line. For example, wide range, there will be 2 lines, sales and forecast 1, and the title of the chart. And also manipulate the format of the chart as well. Where do you put your legend position, bottom or top? And also the series header as well. So this is the chart number 1. Similarly, you can repeat for chart number 2 and chart number 3. And after that, I will define chart number 1 using this new Excel chart definition. And as you can see, same thing again here is $sign, but when you use it here, it needs to be @ And here I export Excel file and define Excel chart definition at above. And so you see, if you notice here, I don't open and close Excel package anymore. I close the code above. The reason is that I use export Excel file here. So whenever you use this one, you don't need to open and close the Excel package. So if I run this, it pop up to the result that I showed earlier, like the chart. And then this look like it's finished, but I want to improve it further by, I want to know how much time does the code run so I can get date and then toString output and finish. Beginning of the code, I also do the same thing. So when I run, you will see that it finished here at what time and start begin at what time. So you can explain to stakeholder that how much time you save running the code. The bonus parts I will talk later. But the next one is here. Because you run this every week, let's say the file needs to pop up every week. So sometimes you want to make sure that you delete all of the data of last week, input data. So you don't accidentally do the calculation based on the last week. You do it by if you look into the path and then you find that if the Excel file result that is it, then you will delete row for some of the sheet and then for some other, you can delete the whole things. So it totally depends on you whether you want to keep the same worksheet name, the same header, but only delete certain row, or you want to delete the whole worksheet. If you want to remove the whole worksheet, you use this command, remove worksheet. But if you want to delete the certain row, you can utilize this, like dimension row and then delete row. So those are the 2 ways. The next one will be the bonus, where you can use, in this case, you can use the pivot table to create the dashboard. Some reason. Yes. Here you can also, that's how I do the sensitivity label, that you can put it here so you don't need to, every time you open and then you have to put it in. And here is the dashboard where you can do the pivot table and then you export and then you can see that the pivot table is being built. Let's see whether Want to test it? Oh, the reason is that the seed is still protected. Now, if I save it and run the same code again, you can see that it automatically pop up the pivot table for you. For example, I want to calculate how many cappuccino cups that I sold for Pacific day on the PM shift or AM shift, and then do the grand total on top of it. So I can also able to do that. Okay, so now with the code, the next one, we see the last part.
I have a question.
Yes.
Does it work if you don't have installed Excel?
You don't need to install Excel. You don't need. I don't. If you
You call a new object.
okay. I don't. I haven't run this part yet. I comment out. So
Okay.
yes. So the object is only for the sensitivity label, but for this you don't need. Yes. So the last part. Always. Yes. So now you have said that like he wants to automate the whole workflow because now he get tired of doing the manual coffee machine and make for every cup manually. So he want to introduce the automation. I want to introduce a machine to do that, and also need to automate the whole workflow. So in this case, I use the logic apps. So it tries to simplify the collection data process. It also helps you to schedule the code to run on specific date. You, of course, can also do that using batch. But this is the one way to do it. And apart from that, you can also use many other services. For example, Power Automate, Function, or Web Jobs. And the thing is that you don't have to choose one of those, just very specific to your use case. And the nice thing is that it can talk to each other, it understand each other. And in order to understand more how logic app work, you can go to like Microsoft website where it also have the article where it say it advise how to choose the right integration, where it's compare between, for example, logic apps, function, web job, what's the pros and cons of each methods. But here I will do the demo. So here, in order to do it first, sorry. So here, if you go back to the code, and if you realize that all of the file I put in local folder, but in reality, many people work together. They can use SharePoint, they can use OneDrive, they can use many different shared folder. So how do we make sure that it work? Here, in order to do that, you go to portal.azure.com, and then you create the logic app. For example, I go to home. I go to logic app here. And for example, I create a new one. So you define the subscription type, the resource, the name, click, and then define all of the parameter here to create one. Here, I already created one. And on the left, panel, you will see that there are different options, but today I want to highlight and work on the workflows. If you click on workflow, so here I created, but you can also add new one, of course, and select the type to create. But here I create before. And you can choose the version if like you want to work as using code version or designer. So I introduce today the designer version because it's more intuitive. So the way that it works is that it will define HTTP request, and then it go to the list folder. For example, in this case, save point. And then it get all of the input data and put into OneDrive. So this is only the part that is automate the data collection. In order to do that, I will show you the location of the save point, how it works. So you will see that I have the folder called scripted sheets. And then I put all of the draw data file into the save point. So those are the data that are the people that gather for me and put it here. Now what I want to do is that I want to put it into OneDrive, and my code PowerShell can read from the OneDrive, like the code that I showed you before, can read from here. Or I can also have the file in AWS, or I can have the file in other location. And I use Logic App to gather everything and put it in OneDrive with either location I want to work on. And in order to do that, I will create the designers like this. And if you wonder what it is element, you will see that the site address with either source location is come from save point, and it's looked into specific Excel file. Here you can also change it like the week specifically for this. So this is the short file. And then this is the destination folder. That's OneDrive. I want it to include in here. And then you go back to the workflow. And then run. For example, at 9 a.m. today, I run is successful. But here it failed. Because the connection, it doesn't work for, I tried multiple times. It said the connection failed because of the internet. So I work in this, and then at home it's very fast, but at the hotels, I tried it failed a couple of times before it's succeeded for the same reason, that connection issues. So this is how can you automate the part for data collection. Apart from that, you can also automate the part that you automatically send the email to the stakeholder whenever the file's ready, the result file ready. And in order to do that, I think last year I also gave the one presentation regarding to you Microsoft Graph API in order for automating the email and also calendar. So if you are interested in it, you can also go back to last year's session to see how to automate that part. With that, I think we can come to the Q&A session. Thank you.